Okay. Hi. Yes. Test. Hi, how are you? Okay, let's get started. Into the 3331 and 9331 labs. I'm the tutor of this lab. My name is Ray Lee. I just finished my Master of Information Technology degree. And currently I'm doing the research program with the Professor Mahab. It's also related to the mobile networking. So in this lab, I will help you to get a higher mark as much as I can do. So I would like to upload some useful information into this link. Let's see what we have here. So I will put all the information I have into this GitHub, including the lab notes and the review stuff for the midterm exam and the final exam. So I wish I could help you to get a higher mark. Okay, let's go to the next page. So today we are going to show how to do the lab 1 and what will be the details of the report and the submission. Okay, let's do the lab 1 first. Before we do the lab 1, we need to set up the VLab environment. So I guess most of you have already like finished the environment setup, but just in case, I go with it. So what we need to do is to open the link here in the web CMS. You can see in the lab exercise, it's under the activities here. Can you see that? Just click this button and you'll be able to see the lab exercise. Then click this link, you can see the details of this lab. So that's all we need to do today. So at first we need to run the VLab because all the like documents or all the file that we generated from this lab should be from our VLab instead of your own computer. Because today we are going to use some ping or trace route or other command to generate some file. So we need to make sure all the file are generated from our VLab. So how to connect to our VLab? Here is a link. I can send it to the chat here. Just go through this page, then you will be able to run the VLab, sorry. Just go through. Basically, all we need to do is to download the Tiger VNC. If you are using the Linux, then you can run this command. But in case you have some trouble on install this software, probably you can just simply run this website. Just copy this website and visit. You'll be like this. Then yeah, then you will be able to log in. So you don't need to connect to any VPN or other stuff to use this website. Much easier. So do you have any question related to the VLab setup? So if you have any question, please type it or just open your mic. Yeah. Why we need to run the VLab? Because the VLab environment is very important for our lab. We should do all the lab contents under the VLab environment. So that's why we need to like, I would like to tell you how to use the VLab setup. Okay, so I assume everybody is ready for the VLab. So let me log in. After the login, what should we do? What should we do is just run the terminal here and see what is the task for the lab. So that's for the environment setup. Let's go to the content of lab 1. So today we are going to have a look of a lot of Linux basic commands, including the ping, traceroute, ns lookup, and probably dig and grep. I specify some command with the red color because they are very important in the future. So if you don't know what is that, probably you can search in the internet and try to use it by yourself. Let's see. Yeah, let's just start from the question 1, I think. We're not going to have a look of them one by one because they are very easy to use. So if you don't know them, probably you can open this link and then you can see there a tutorial about this command. Just go through them, like just read them and run the command like this, ping a host or with some parameters with it. Or run the trace route, just run every command in this page, then you will have some idea what is this command. And this should be very easy, but I know it's very hard to remember every command at the first time, but you will know it like with our labs. So don't worry if too much if you don't know or cannot remember them. That is pretty normal. Okay, so if you have time, just go through this page at first before you do the lab one. But at here, because it's the week one content, so at here I'm not going to show you. But if you didn't do it, probably you can do it at first. Okay, let's have a look of the specific question of it. Let me open the page. Page is here. Let's have a look of the first question here. Okay, let's have a look of the first one. What should we do in the exercise one is to have a try of the ping command and the ns lookup command. So what is the IP address of the website of koala.com.au? So this should be pretty simple, right? You can use the ping command or the ns lookup command to figure it out. Let me show you here. We can use a ping command at first and just type the server. What is that? koala.com.au. Just ping and it will show its IP address here, right? And we cancel the ping command with Control and C. Then we can abort this command. And then let's see the ns lookup command. Type the ns lookup with the URL. See, here is the result. You can see there are several results. What is this server? What is this address? And what is this address? You need to figure out how could this happen? Okay, it's obviously one of the IP address of koala.com.au is this IP address. But how about this one? Is it also the same? So probably if we have the browser here, we can try to visit it. Let's do it. koala.com.au. Yes, you can see here is the website. And let's try the IP address directly. 172 something. Let me open it. 172.67.19.46. Oops, we cannot open it with the IP address. Yeah, but as we can see here, there are two IP addresses here. So we need to figure out how could this happen. Because I cannot tell you the answer directly, but I can tell you some keywords. Probably you can do some research of it. So some computer may need, like some server may need to have several IP address because they have several servers to support them. That is because they have very heavy load or very heavy like user visit. So they may need several IP address or several server to support their URL. So probably you can search the load balancing or load distribution and see how it works, and then explain it in your PDF file, in your report. This one should be pretty easy for you. Let's see the second one.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you type in like NS lookup, there's a thing that's as non-authoritative answer. What is that specific to like all the addresses just below?
Yeah, so why it calls non-authorized table answer is because this answer is not 100% right. So it's from an non-official server. So we will know it in next lab or lab 3, I guess. So we will learn some stuff related to the DNS server later. So you will know what is the unauthorized answer here. But in here, we just ignore it. I think you will know it very fast. Yeah. So,
cool,
so for now, you just need to understand it's not from the official official server. So it may be a fake IP address here. So we will know more about it in the future weeks. But here, as we can see, there are two IP addresses. So we need to figure out how could this happen? Why they are all point to the same website. Let's have a look at the second one. Find out the name of IP address 127. So what is this IP address? We can simply run a nslookup command. As you can see here, the name of it is localhost. What does this mean? You can search online, but I can tell you it's pretty simple to understand because it's your own machine. So when you ping this IP address, which means you send the packet to yourself. Like this. You ping this IP address, which means you are pinging yourself. So this IP address is usually to like do the test. And that's all. Yeah, and we call this IP address a loopback address. So for more information, just Google it. In this exercise, we just explain what is this IP address, is your local host, and what can we do with this IP address or something. Just explain. Do we have any question related to this exercise? I think the exercise 1 should be pretty easy. So if you have any, just send on the chat. Let's keep going. Let's have a look of the exercise 2 here. In the exercise 2, we are going to use the ping command here. Ping command to ping this website or IP address. Yeah, I'm not going to do them more because I do them more, you have all the answer. But I will try some. For example, this one, mit.edu. Just do the pin command. You just type the address, and you can see some information here. We send a 64 bytes packet to this IP address. And then, as you can see, the sequence number, the time to live, the time, which is the RTT. So it shows we can connect to this website directly. But in exercise 2, we are going to find out some host which is not reachable. Probably find this one. In yeah, after running this command, we stuck here. You can see there's no information comes out, which means timeout. But we can visit this website. It shows that actually we can browse this website through the browser, but we cannot ping them. How could this happen? This is because they may have some security reason and close the ICMP gateways. So this is just one of the reason. And here we also have other websites. You need to figure out the reason of why we cannot ping them. Does that make sense? And just make sure you are using the VLab environment to ping this host. Okay. Yeah, if you get 100% of packet loss, this is mean not reachable. So here are some reasons that you may need to find it useful. First one is it does not exist, or security reasons, or some other reasons, if you can explain. Okay. Do you have any other question? Am I going to be put on the list for paying the Kremlin? Nope. In my opinion, they just close the gateway, so you are not on the list. It's stuck here. You just cancel it. You can see 100% packet loss. We sent 160 packets during this time, and more of them are lost. So, which means there is no response from them. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, so when you're doing the report for exercise 2, probably you can like show a table for all of them because you need to do them one by one. You need to ping the UNSWF first and ping the getfitness.com.au. And tell us what is the result. If you can pin them, just type, yeah, I can reach this website. And if you can't, for example, this one, you need to tell us the reason. Yeah, how would you find out why the host is not reachable with ping? Yeah, if you can't see some information like this, if you ping their website with no response or some very high delay or something other situation, then you may think this website is not reachable. And if you find the ping command is not working, then you can double check with open the URL with your browser here, like this one. It can't be reached. So we have two things to confirm it can't be reached. The first thing is to use the ping command, and the second one is to use our browser to open it. Does this make sense? Yeah.
Are there any other reasons that we can't reach other than these two?
Yes,
Or just
there may have some reasons, but you can do some research by yourself. So, but for these two, I think it's good enough. But yeah, you may discover some other reasons and explain to us. You can just search it and do some research. Yeah. If the browser cannot open it, then it is not a real website, or is it because their website is broken? Yeah, you may have the problem with the last one, right? With this one. You can't visit this IP address, but when you try to ping it, oh, it worked. So how could this happen? I want you to discover what is this IP address at first. So you can like do a who is to this IP address and see some information of the from Google. So what is this server for? You can do more information, do some research by yourself and figure out how could this happen. Because I can't tell you all the answer, right? So I just want to give you a hint, then you can find the answer by yourself. Yeah, I saw there someone got the answer in the chat. Yeah, so what you need to do is for the question 2, just go through the link one by one and check if you can pin them or like browse them with your browser and tell us the reason why if you can't pin them or browse them. But I can't tell you all the answer, right? So here, I think here some hint for you is good enough to help you to get the right answer. So if you are not sure what is this website, you can like do the search online, use the Google, or use the command of who is. I can show you again, the who is command with the IP address, and it will show you the information of it. You can see the name, their email, their phone, and where are they. Yeah, so don't worry if you do not know what is DNS. We'll know it very soon. Probably in this week, next week, I guess. But I can explain to you later. after we finish all the stuff. Don't worry too much. So let's just go through them, okay? Let's go to the exercise 3. In this one, we are going to use the trace route. This exercise have a lot of questions. Let's go to the first one of it. Just run the trace route on your machine to this website and see how many routers are there between in your workstation and this website. Okay, let's do it. Use this command trace route. Trace route, and the website is columbia.edu. So run this command. As you can see here is a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 24, right? So which means we are hopping to this destination. It will show the hopping history as a list here. So what does this mean? Is to how can we reach this server from our own computer? Because there are lots of routers between the server to our own machine. So here are the path from our machine to the destination server. As we can see here, it starts from the USW. This is our first router. And then I jump to another and keep going on. And finally, we reach the destination. So how many routers between the server to our machine? You may say 24, but that is wrong because the last one is the destination, right? So we have 23 routers between them. So these 23 are the routers between them. So yeah. And how many routers along the path as are part of the UNSW network? So how can we figure this question? We can simply have a look of the domain of it. As you can see here, this one, the fourth one, is under the UNSW domain, right? So it must be a part of UNSW. And here is the same as the fifth one. And when we come to the sixth, it only have an IP address, right? So what can we do? We can use the whois command to double check it. Let's do the whois. And see, yeah, it's belong to the AARnet, right? It's belong to another company, but it's still in Kensington. So it just came out from our Kensington campus, but it's not belong to the UNSW anymore. So we can get the answer easily. And between which two routers do packets cross the Pacific Ocean? Right, this question is quite tricky. how can we figure out what is the physical address of the IP address? Or we can like run the whois command like before, because they have the address here, right? They have the address here. We can just check if they are reach the other side. And we can also have a look of the time of it, because if we need to cross the Pacific Ocean, then it may take lots of time than the normal router. I would say probably between these two, right? In here, we spend about 1.7 milliseconds to reach this router, but we spend much more time between these two and these two. So we just double check of these three routers. Who are they? We can run the whois command, but I'm not going to run it here. You can do it by yourself to figure out who are they. But here another tools that we can use. This website, we can put an IP address inside the box. Let me see the result at first. Here, it's 113.197.15.4, and just put the IP address here and locate the address. It says this IP address is in this location. It's still in Australia, right? Then we check another one. Let's check this one. As you can see here, it's not Australia anymore. It's in United States. So now we can know between these two, they must across the Pacific Ocean, but we may need to double check them one by one. Like they may across the ocean in between these two, or between these two, you need to use this website or use the whois command to figure out. Okay. And let's have a look of the second question. Still the same, run the traceroute command with these two destinations and see what is the difference between the results, between the outputs. Let's do them here. Probably I should like draw something to make it easier to understand, because the trace route will like show the list how we visit a server. So it will be like this. Let's say my machine, localhost. Then we have some server like Tokyo.jp, and another one is UCLA.edu. Yeah, assume we have some server like this. So how can we visit them? Can visit them. For example, we have a router here. Right? It's our router, and we may visit this router at first and visit another router here. And when we visit to a router, then because they are in different location, right? This one is in Japan and this one is in America. So in some place, they may diverge the route to another router here. And then finally, they reach the UCLA EDU. If we want to visit the Tokyo.jp, then we may need to visit another router here to reach the Tokyo JP. So that is how it works. So there is an algorithm in the network interface that can help us to calculate the route and the path from our local machine to the server. But we don't need to know the details for now, but we need to understand how this works. So if in this graph, it's obviously that we diverge the path in this router, right? So in this question, we just want to observe which router we diverged, yeah. So in here, all we need to do is to run the command trace route of this cla.edu here. And you can see there's 11 hops here. Anyone now? Yeah, okay. And just run another one to this one. Oops. Just wait, trace route this website. And all we need to do is to compare them one by one. So we can see the first one. Let me just stop it here. Okay, just compare them. Let's have a look of the first one. It's 129.94. And compare with the first one here. Yeah, they are the same, right? And compare the second one. See if they are the same. Yeah, they are the same. And the third one, 3.5, 3.5, and they are the same. And until we find a different one, like let's say the fifth one, 149. 149 is still the same. How about the seventh one? 113. 113. Seems they are still the same, right? 202.177. Yeah, here we found a different. So as we can see, the router diverged at this place, right? So that's how we figured it out. Because you may have find lots of information here and find it messy. Probably you can like draw a graph like this to make it easier to understand. You can put your IP address here and see where's the diverged router. Yes, just check them one by one. For example, here I only trace route 2 websites, but for you, I think you need to check 3 websites, right? In here, I just check 2 of them. But for you, you need to run 3 trace route command at first, and then compare them one by one from the hop 1. Yeah, you can try to run different terminal to make it easier to have a look of it. Yeah. like this. Here I trace route the Tokyo, and here I can trace route the ucla.edu. Yeah, have several terminals to compare them. Maybe easier. You can just compare the first line, if they are the same. Yes, they are the same. And compare the second line, if they are the same. Yes, they are the same. Third line, if they are the same. Yes. Until the sixth line, they are the same. Yes. And eighth, if they are the same. Nope. Yeah, then we find the diverge point, right? Should be pretty easy. But for you, you need to run 3 different trace route commands for these 3 websites. Okay. And find out further details about the router. Run the whois command we used before. And see the IP address, the physical address of it through the tools here. All good? These two. Let's go to the next one. The third question for the Q3. Here. So there are some websites provide the trace route commands to us, like this one and this one. So we can put an IP address here and ask them to run the command for us. So they will run the trace route command on their machine and present the result to us. As you can see here, it's from their own machine to this IP address. And here are the results. So this one is the same. So what should we do in the third question here? We are going to like path difference between our machine to their machine, or from their machine to our machine. Let me explain this in here. Let's say localhost here. And this one is the Telstra server. Because they are connected like this. It's a router. And because there are lots of routers in the internet, and they may have several routers are connected together. As you can see here, from our local host to the Telstra server, we may have several different paths. The one of them is through this road, and one of them is through this road, right? They may have different road to travel, and it will be the same for the Telstra to our local host. They can from here to here, or they can from here to here. So we may find they use different paths in different time, or even in the same time. So in the third question, we just want to discover what will be the path from our local host to the Telstra server. We can run the trace route command from the local host to their server like this. It can present a path to us, right? And then we run the trace route command from Telstra server to our own local host. And it may present a totally different path to us. Let's say they present this path. Then we need to observe what is different, what is the output difference of them. Does this make sense? So in here, in this question, we are going to do this problem. So here are the steps. Just visit these two websites and use the trace route from their website to our own IP address. You may have some trouble to figure out what is our own IP address. Let's see if we can the easiest way to figure out what is our own IP address is to open the browser in your VLab and just type what is my IP, and then you can see your IP here. Okay. You can also run some like bash commands to figure out what is your IP address with the same. And here we just use this IP address. But remember, it's your VLab's IP address. You need to run it in the VLab. And then put the IP address in their website and ask them to trace route to your machine. And compare the outputs and explain why. Do we have any question on here? I just tried it and it says trace route is not recognized, but I found tracert. Are those the same? Yes, they are the same, but I assume you are using the Windows 10 instead of the VLab. I think you have this problem, right? You are running in your own machine. You are running like this. Sorry. And you see, there are similar results like this. But when I try to run the roads, it doesn't work. This is because you are using the Windows 10 or Windows other Windows system. But just make sure when you do the lab, you're running on the VLab. Yeah, how do you trace route back from the website to us? All you need to do is just click. Can see the link here, right? Just click it, and here is a box. Then you can put our IP address here, and they will run the trace route command for us. Okay. Yeah, how can I ask them to trace route my machine on their website? Yeah, I think I already explained this question. Just open the web page here on the lab. Just have a look of this website here and here. There are two websites. Remember to do them both. and we want to compare the difference of the path from our host to their host, or from their host to our host. Yeah, if you can like do this kind of graph in your report, that would be excellent. It would be very clear. I guess we don't have any question right now. So let's go to the last question. Before we do the last question, you may have some trouble to set up. The first problem is because we're going to using some like shell scripts at the last exercise. You can find the scripts here at the top of the lab. Here, you can see there are two shell commands that we need to download to our own WeLab. So how to download it? The first one, you can like just run your WeLab. If you are running your WeLab like this, you can just copy the URL and visit the URL of our course. Then you'll be able to log in, then download it. If you can, if you have any like FTP server or something, or even the email, you can use them to transmit the shell command into your WeLab. So I'm not going to show you here, but if you have any question related to how to download or stuff, or how to copy a stuff from my computer to the WeLab, just let me know in the tutorial or even in the forum. Can help you here. Yeah, but I assume you already know how to download the stuff into the WeLab. And you may have the second question, how to run a shell scripts. You may have some permission problem, or you don't know how to run the scripts at all. But don't worry, we have very specific details on the lab. Let me show you. And here are the details are telling you how to run the shell scripts. Here, it tells you how to run this script. Let me show you here. I put my file at this place. Probably I should delete them at first. So you have two shell scripts here. Then you can run the terminal. Just right click it, run the terminal here. Okay. Then you'll be in the same path. You can run the ls to double check you have the scripts here. Then how to run the run ping command here, just to sh run ping.sh or with the URL. I don't remember the URL. Let's see. This one. qq.edu.au. You can see, just help us to run the ping command here, and it will generate a file which contains the output of it. all we need to do is wait. Just wait them. It will take like 5 minutes, I guess. So we will just leave it. Just make sure you're following all the guidance here. Download it and run the command like this. And yeah, and that's all. Should be pretty easy for you. Just run them one by one. So at first, you run this command. So if you have any problem to run this command, just go back and double check this paragraph. Make sure you follow all the stuff. And once you finish this command and run the second one and run the third one, then you will have a lot of files in here. As we can see here, there are 2 files here. All we need to do is just wait. It will generate them one by one. So what's next? Because at the first step, we run the run pin command, right? And the second step, we just run the plot command, plot shell scripts. Just make sure you type everything is the same here. And we'll also generate some plots during this process, which is the PDF file that we may need. So at last, you finish run this 6 command, then you will generate a lot of file. Then we can go to the calculate step. So how can we calculate the step? Let's have a look of this question at first. So what we are going to do is to run the shell scripts, and the shell scripts will like ping this server a lot and generate some information in the files, and it will plot it. So what we need to do is to do the calculation of the distance here. Like this. We'll do the calculation of the ratio. So how to calculate this ratio? We may need to have this kind of table, like in here, because we already know the URL address, right? And all we need to do is to check where are they. For example, the UQ, where is the website server? You can search online, like through the Google, and you will find they are in Brisbane, or you can use the whois command to figure out what is the address of them. Then check what is the physical distance from uq.edu.au to our on campus. Let me show you here. It's still on the process. Let's just ignore it. Still on the process. We just wait. Let's check the distance. Okay. Open a new terminal. Use the whois command. uq.edu.au. Not found. Okay. Never mind. We all we know is the uq.edu.au is the University of Queensland, right? So we just open the Google Map. Let me open the Google Map. Here. Map. UQ. This one, what is the distance from here to our on campus? Let's use measure distance and see to Sydney, where is our campus? It's in Randwick here. Here, it's around 730 kilometers, right? From our campus to the UQ, about 700. Then we can, let's write out at 740. This is the physical distance. And what is the T? T is equal to the physical distance divided by the speed of light. Okay. And what is the minimum RTT? This value is in the PDF file that we generate in the previous step here. In the second step, we will generate some PDF file. Then you need to click it and see what is the minimum RTT. And the ratio will be T divided by the minimum RTT. Does that make sense? So all you need to do is to do the calculation for all the websites and then answer the question here. And the first question is to ask you to do the calculation. I have already explained to you to do the calculation. But they may have some other question like the second one or third one. Should be pretty easy question. Just answer them one by one. Is that okay? Do you have any question for the last question? You observe common routers between the forward and the reverse path. Do you also observe the same IP address? So you are asking the question for the last question, like this one in the question 3. So when you observe they have different IP address, then you should consider they are going through the different path. So what I suggest in question 3 is you can draw a picture like this and specify each router with the IP address, then it will be very clear. Yeah. I think for the last question, it should be a little bit complicated because it's very long, but yeah, just go through them. Just go through from the first command, like this one, you don't need to run the command. We'll go start from here. Just run these 3 commands one by one and run these 3 commands one by one. And if you have some trouble on the permission, run this command. But if you don't need to run this command. Let me just show how we can do it here. We have finished to run the first command of the run ping. Let's do the second command. It's to plot.sh. So plot and uq.edu.au p. Okay. And it generates some PDF file here. right? Easy. And we can find out what is the minimum number of it. The minimum number is very obvious, right? This one. Then we can like put this number into our table in here, into here. And then we can calculate the ratio for the question 1. Yeah, just if you still have some trouble, just leave it and try to do by yourself. And if you have any doubts, just come back and watch the recording. I think that should be pretty easy for you. I guess we don't have any question for now. So let's, okay, we still have question. Where can we find, where is the website hosted? Yeah, where's the website hosted? Like we can use the, let's say we can use the ping command to find out. Let's say we can ping .uq.edu.au. Then you can find their IP address, right? Then we use the whois command. Apply to this one. We apply to this IP address. Then here we go. We find the address of it. Right? Just copy this address to the Google Map and calculate the physical distance. Yeah, you can also do the NS lookup. Depends on you. There are several ways to do the physical distance calculation. So we are not required you to do the very precise physical distance calculation. So if you have like if you have different number or different result of this table, it will be totally fine. Just tell us how can you calculate this number and submit all the file you have generated. So we can have a double check of it. You are doing the right thing. So do not worry if you have the different results. Okay, let's have a look of the report. How can we do the submission? Oh, sorry. How can we get the minimal RTT? Yeah, from the PDF. Yeah, you may wonder, where is this 18? Where is this 18? I said it's in the PDF file, right? But where is the PDF file? Once we run the PDF, run the plot command, then we can find the PDF file here. Just open it and see what is the minimum number. It's around 17. Yeah, and that's it. All good. Okay, if we don't have any question, let's just go to the next step. We'll talk about the submission. You may have some problem with the submission at the first time. So let's have a look. Don't forget the deadline. So if you have some delay on the submission, you may have some penalty. So how can we do the submission here? I assume we have finished all the work here. Sorry. Here, like this. So we just put all the stuff in the same directory, and we back to the parent directory here. Let's change its name to Lab1. Make it easier. So How can we do the submission here? We just right click it, run the terminal, and use the command. I don't remember this. The TARCVF, TARCVF, and what should be the file name? It should be the lab1.tar, and what is the directory name? It's the lab1. So we run this command, and you will say, it compress all the stuff in this directory into this file. So we generate a new file called lab1.tar. We can double check of it. You can see, yeah, everything is in here. Then we can do the submission. Just open the terminal again and use the give command. I don't remember. Give CS3331. Give CS3331 lab1 and lab1.tar. You can see the result here. Just type yes to do the submission. Does that make sense? I think you can also do the submission through the through what kind of link? Through the CSE, I guess, CMS. So if you have any trouble on the submission, just let us know on the forum. So we can help you as soon as possible. So this is for the submission. And for the report, because you may have no idea how to write a report, right? But we do not need you to write like an essay, but just make it very simple and clear. What does this mean is to not put any irrelevant stuff like the question itself into your report. So we don't like you to put everything on the question to your report because we already know the question is. So just put your answer in your report and do not put a lot of other stuff not related to the answer to your report. And just make it very clear, like you should put the all essential information, like including your CID, your name, which lab is this, and which question is this, to make it very clear. And if you do not know, like you don't know what is the answer for one of the questions, so just don't panic. You can put what have you tried, or what kind of problem you have to your report, and you still can get some marks. So just show us your effort instead of leave it as blank. Okay. And yeah, but if you have time and you still do not understand one of the questions, just post a question on the forum or just come to a lab. Even it's not your lab, you can just go to a random lab and ask question you have. So we will help you as much as we can. Yeah, I think that's all for today. So if you have any other question, like if you want me to explain what is DNS or other stuff, you can just ask me. Yeah, just let me know if you want to learn anything. So I will stay here until the end of the session. So if you have any question, just feel free to stay here. You can type your question on the chat, or you can also open your microphone. Okay, so we have our first question here. How to download the stuff? Sorry. how to download the stuff into the VLab. So if we have something to download, the first thing, the most easiest way is to use the browser here. As you can see, we can open the web browser in the VLab. So you can put the file into a web disk or in your Google account or in the driver or something, or you can log into the CSE. What is the address of that? I don't remember. This one. Web CNS Sun 3. Let's see. unsmu.edu.au. This website. You just log in and put your GID and download the stuff you need. This one is the most easiest way. And second one, you can try to use the SSH command. Let me show you here. Give me a sec. Okay. Or you can use the SSH command, like you can run the terminal in your own machine and SSH login .cse unsmu.edu.au. Don't forget to put your ZID here. Like this, use the SSH command. Then you ask for your password. And then I log into my VLab here in the terminal. I can show all the files here. And then I can use the scp command to copy or download some stuff from my computer to this machine. Or you can use the sftp function. If you don't know how to use the scp command, so just forget this method. It's a little bit complicated to learn. And the other way, you can use the FileZilla or using this kind of software to use the SFTP. Just select a host and connect to your, how should I say that? CSE VLab, like this one. Yeah, then you can see we can drag file from my own machine to the VLab here. Let's try something. This one is also very simple. Just open the desktop and copy something. I don't know, probably, yeah, copy a main.py and let's see. You can see the main.py is here. Yeah, you can try this stuff. We call it, what is the name of the software? Terminus. Yeah, so because we are the student of USW, so we can receive the free version of it. We don't need to pay for it. If you are interested, you can download this software and log in with your own ZID. So I just a client for the SSH. So it's very useful for your future programming stuff. But this kind of method is a little bit complicated. So if you are just still confused, just use the web browser here. Just open the web browser, then upload your file to the driver or something online. Or use the email here to download your file. Oh, good. Yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. So if you don't have any question, just feel free to leave. But if you do, like you can do your lab today. And if you do have some question and you would like to get some immediate response from me, then you can come to my tutorial next day. I will put all the information in the GitHub, or you can check on the official website of our course. I put the link of my tutorial here. Just feel free to come any of them if you have any question. And you can check the timetable of the labs here and the recording stuff through this link. So I will upload all the recording to the link later.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next week. Yes. So if you have any suggestion for the lab, if you feel it's too quick or too slow, just let me know. Or if you have some doubt for the lecture content, yeah, you can also ask me. Is it possible to view the PDF file you are using? Are you talking about the last question? I couldn't find it in the GitHub PDF file. Which one? The PPT file. Okay, I got it. I will upload this one later. Just when the tutorial is finished, I will upload the PPTX as well as the recording to the link. Okay.
Hi. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've tried a bit of question 3.
Question 3. Yeah.
Yep. And when I run trace route on my machine to Columbia University,
Yeah.
I will assume that if there's a big jump in the time, it will be passing through the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
But when I run the IP, the location of the IP address, it seems to be in the middle of Australia. I don't know if I did something wrong over there.
Yeah, because the location, the physical location may be wrong. I would say probably they are under the Pacific Ocean, but it is registered under the Australian company. So you may find it still inside the Australian, but it is actually under the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, I got it.
So,
So
yeah.
maybe one of them is showing that it should be in Guam, but when I search it, it is in Australia.
Yeah, so you may find it suddenly jump to the USA, right? So you just need to find it important hop. You need to figure out, just show us between which one and which one we jump to the USA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I just downloaded the Termuse, but how can I get a free version of Termuse? I mean,
Yeah, they have the student version of it. Just check their official website. Then you can get a free version.
oh,
You can type Termuse student on Google. I don't know what is the difference between them. Probably they have I don't know. If you are using the normal version, that should be also work, but they have the synchronize function to their premium user alternate.
Okay.
Termuse students. Yeah, it will ask you to link to your GitHub account to verify.
Okay, but even they got my GitHub account, I don't think they can just verify my student. Like
Yes, so you may need to verify your student identity on the GitHub. Then
okay.
you use the GitHub to verify the terminals, because the GitHub will offering a lot of advantage for the student, like free server, free domain, other stuff, a lot of free stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, or you can use any other FTP software that is available. Just make sure you are using the correct host name. Do you remember the host name of it? It's the login dot, let me type it. usw.edu.au ID at, yeah, the host name should be this one. So the configuration may be a little bit difficult, but once you set it up, you'll be super easy.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So if you have any trouble with this, just make some screenshot and post it on the forum. Or even you can ask me here, you can share your screen if you want. Yeah, just let me know. When I run the VNC and run the terminal, type ping host, and then it doesn't work, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what is the problem of that? Because the ping command require you to put the host name. The host name could be an IP address or the URL, like www.google.com, something like that. But you type the ping host. The host doesn't make any sense, right? So you need to replace the host with anything. Yes. What kind of question? How do we find what is asking? Yeah, you can have a look of the end of the question. You can see there are 4 questions at the end, right? Just answer them one by one.
Oh, sorry. I meant for question 2. Sorry, I didn't write that properly. But I was just confused with question 2. Like, what was it like asking? How do you tell if it's like constant or vary over time?
Yeah, so it's obvious the delay is not constant, right? Because when we ping the destination, the delay must be different. So what I suggest is just to explain why the delay is different every time. So how can you see the delay? Do you have any idea?
Is it shown on the graphs?
Yes, you can see the plot that you generated. So the delay must be different. So you can see it's different, but you need to explain why. So is there anything affects the delay? Why every time is a little bit different? You can analyze. Do you remember we have already learned the 4 kinds of delay, right?
Yeah.
The processing, they may be the same, but the queuing delay, they may be different, right? Depends on the it's not busy or not on the router, and just check them one by one and explain.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, so my graphs is still being made. So is the graph usually like to tell it's like not constant is because like it's not like a straight line?
Yeah, usually it doesn't it will be a straight line, but yeah, in case you have the straight line, it just explain. Don't worry too much because everyone will get a different graph.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, actually, sorry, I have one more really quick question.
Yeah, of course. Take your time.
Thank you. So for exercise 3, when it asks you how many routers between like you and the website.
Yep.
So just want to double check, like, does that, so we -1 because we don't want to think about the destination.
Yes, correct.
Do we -1 again because we don't want to think about the source as well, or do we count?
You can have a double check. What is the first one? It's not our IP address, right? It's the first router. You can check it again.
Right.
But the last one is our destination, so that's the reason why we're only -1, but not -2.
That makes sense. Okay. Oh, so the first one, oh yeah, it's not our, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. When I do ping interval, I receive bad timing. Yeah, because you need to replace the interval as an integer number, like ping dash I and put a 5 or 3, 2, 1 on it. Let me type an example for you. Yes. So you will send a packet per 2 seconds to this address.
Oh, hello.
Yes?
Oh, hello. I just had a quick question, if that's
Yeah.
okay. I was just wondering, how do you know if like a website is like one that doesn't exist, or if it is one that like that website's server or something is just not working or something like that, if that makes sense?
Yes. So if you cannot ping them,
Mhm.
they may have several problems, right?
Mhm.
One of the reason is they like close the ping command to for some security reason.
Right.
But you can like reach them through your like browser.
Mm. Yeah.
And the second situation is you can't reach them with your browser or the ping command. So which means the server is not exist.
Mm. Okay.
So there is no this kind of website.
Right. Okay. And it's like only either that or only
Yeah.
one of those two choices. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, good. See you next week. Okay. Thank you. Just let me know if you have any question. See you next week.